everybody to another episode of the J2Hub podcast. This morning I'm excited to be joined by a chap who's got a very, very nice system, which I believe is going to possibly be the future of the way people are sourcing deals and the way you link people together. I'm always very interested in speaking to people that are disrupting the industry. And what I mean by disrupting the industry is bringing something out that's very innovative and putting people together and connecting people. I think we live in an era of social media now, and kind of really having systems in place that make things a lot easier for people to connect. And I think the system that this chap's put together, or the system that these guys are developing, could change the way the industry is looked at as a whole. So lo and behold, I'm very, very happy to have Jonathan Barker on the podcast this morning from a company called 𝗱𝘆𝘀. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, James. Good morning.
No worries at all. So I know it's been a bit difficult getting us together on this podcast. There's been a lot of back and throws, booking in dates, cancelling dates, and yeah, sorry for wasting your time if I have done in the past, but I'm so glad we've pinned it down and we're gonna.
No, it's good to finally speak.
Yeah, likewise, mate. Likewise, I'm glad we finally managed to get it pinned down. So, Jonathan, let me start by asking you. The podcast focuses a lot on property, business, and real life. Let's start by asking you, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself before we go in and talk a little bit more about the system that you've developed.
Yeah, certainly. My background is actually in commercial surveying. So I've been doing that for 6 years prior to founding the idea behind 𝗱𝘆𝘀. So I predominantly worked in West Yorkshire and East Yorkshire areas on commercial agencies, so dealing with a lot of investment development transactions, as well as sort of retail office rentals as well. And really, sort of during that time as well, I was involved in a lot of sort of developing, particularly with my father. And really, when we were looking for the next opportunity, getting frustrated, trying to look for sort of what we wanted online, that's really how the idea came about. So I was able to look at it from both sort of surveyor's aspect, using a platform for specific properties, but also from a developer investor perspective as well, and having that need to try and really make it sort of simple to find stuff rather than looking at everything in the marketplace.
Okay, so you would say the system has been developed through maybe a little bit of frustration with yourselves and your team trying to find the next project?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, or certainly most people, would start looking online to search for the next opportunity, and it was just purely through one night of getting frustrated, trying to look for the next project. Me and my dad at the time, we knew what we were looking for, but just scratching our heads, not really being able to find that. And I just asked the question, why is there not a platform for my needs as an investor developer, where just looking at stuff that's specifically of interest to me, rather than looking at absolutely everything in the marketplace and spending endless amount of time looking at stuff that's irrelevant. So yeah, it really was from frustration at the beginning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So tell me about your property journey so far, before we get into the platform. What does that look like? What's your development been like beforehand? What have you been doing with your father?
It was mainly residential to start off with, and if the idea behind 𝗱𝘱𝘀 wasn't here today, then I'd certainly be continuing doing that. As I say, with the time we've had to sort of focus on this, it's sort of put the developing investing on the back burner. But yeah, it started off with a sort of small residential buying opportunities that really require significant refurbishments, or even just a modest refurb, and given the option really to look at trying to sell them on, look for the next opportunity, or indeed start creating a rental portfolio. But the long term was going to work into the commercial as well, having been a commercial surveyor, quite open to the idea of having a good mixed portfolio. So predominantly it's been residential in and around the East Yorkshire area, and hopefully I'll get to a point in the near future where I can really pick that back up and start building the portfolio again. And as I say, with obviously 𝗱𝘱𝘀, the time it's taken for me to focus on, it's not really been feasible at the moment. So yeah, as I say, that's really where I'm at the moment.
So, Jonathan, for the newbies listening, for anybody who doesn't know what a commercial surveyor is, you want to let us know what that actually entails and what you do?
Yeah, commercial surveyors, they deal with all sorts of commercial property related matters. So it can be anything to do with like property management, looking after various commercial assets on behalf of clients, also dealing with rent reviews, lease renewals, and sort of general agency work as well, which is what I was predominantly involved in before I left sort of surveying to focus on truffle. So yeah, there's various aspects in the commercial, even doing property valuations as well. So as a commercial surveyor, you do have quite a diverse career actually, and you get involved in various different properties. Certainly over my time, I was involved in large industrial estates through to small shops, even properties that have been vacant for many years, and you're trying to figure out what the best use is going to be for that, and looking to try and market it. So it's very diverse and an interesting career to take if anyone is looking at going down the commercial surveying route. It certainly gives you a good wider scope of various property matters, particularly in the commercial side.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something. What led you down the commercial surveyor route? I mean, it's not something you hear someone say at school, you know what, I'm going to go off and be a commercial surveyor, or I'm going to be a surveyor. What took you from that route, from being in school to going through to qualifying and becoming a commercial surveyor?
Well, actually, at first, when I left sixth form, I didn't actually want to go to university. I actually went to become a car salesman for a bit. So that was a passion of mine. I do like cars, so I figured maybe sell some cars. And how I sort of got into the sort of surveying route was purely through some work experience with a friend of my dad's. And he said, just come and see what it's like, really. And I enjoyed it, the fact that every day was different, and it really excited me that this is possibly a career that I would definitely like to pursue. And I had missed the boat for uni that year, so effectively had a year out. I didn't go travelling or anything, so I was still selling cars for a bit, and went off to study what was called real estate at 𝗱𝘂𝗺𝗹 University. And so it was a specific course on surveying, and that's really how I fell into it, just purely through doing some work experience and realizing, I actually, like this sort of idea to go in a career with this.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned your dad a few times now in this conversation. So would you say your dad had a bit of an influence on what you're doing? Were you always surrounded by property growing up, or was it something quite new to you?
No, it's if anything, it's probably been quite new, to be fair. I think over the last decade, my dad actually got into sort of property investing. Prior to that, he never really got into any sort of property investing developing. It's only just something as he's got towards the end of his career as an engineer, looking at different projects, trying to add some income, and that's really he sort of fell into it a bit later on. So it was just something really that maybe had the sort of spur from a friend being a surveyor, and thinking that might be something you get into later on in life. But yeah, it's I think it's just been surrounded with people who have already had some experience in the property sector.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Car sales, that's got to have been a hard gig.
Yes, it was, especially second-hand cars, actually. So, there wasn't any training at first. I think that was maybe I was disillusioned, actually, thinking you're going to go in and you're going to be selling hundreds of cars a month, and you maybe get to drive some nice cars. It's not that at all. So I was probably thinking, is this something I want to do long term? And the answer was no. Still have a passion for cars, but I figured it's probably not going to be a long term career option, and hence getting some work experience as a surveyor and thinking, I'd like to get into property. So I think long term it's been the right choice. For me.
Yeah, no, I've known many a car salesman, and I've got friends who run a kind of a group of second-hand car sales sites, and they say the same thing. It is a very difficult gig, and people kind of think that you see a high ticket car sitting there on the forecourt, and a dealer might only have £1,000 in that car. With that, he's got to put a warranty on it, he's got to get it cleaned, he's got to do everything and make sure it's safe to be out on the road. And it's not always a glamorous place to be, and sometimes it's actually nicer selling smaller cars that you're making a little bit more on, and just having a larger circle of cars going through, rather than high ticket £50,000-60,000 cars sitting there on the forecourt that don't actually make you any money at all.
No, they just look good, don't they?
Yeah. So Jonathan, right. So let's go into truffle, man. I'm excited about this. Tell us what it's all about. I don't think I've probably explained it too well, but tell us what it's all about.
Sure.
How is it going to help people?
So yeah, it's a platform purely specifically listed investment development properties. So going from the frustrations I had, which was actually back in 2016, and just wanted to really create a platform that you can look for opportunities that are of interest to any property investor developer. And the idea we've created as well is not just for any type of property investor, people who are just starting out, or even experienced people who are adding to the portfolios. We wanted to create a platform that is user friendly and available for everyone. And so at the moment, yeah, you can register. We sort of ask specific questions, what you're actually looking for, because we can then relay this on to the agents, so that they're saving time sort of pre-vetting parties and actually dealing with I don't want to use the term serious buyers, but because obviously there is serious buyers in there, but certainly from my own experience as a surveyor, there was a lot of time wasters. So we wanted to create that hub where we've got people who are genuinely looking for next opportunities or starting out, and they can actually view properties without actually needing to see everything in the marketplace. So that's really the core foundation of what we sort of built the platform on. And but we're going to be so much more than just a search portal, because we want to sort of empower, educate people as well. We're also enabling the ability for private sellers to actually list their properties as well. So if they've got any opportunities that they want to directly market to other potential investors, maybe even developers, that they can do alongside estate agents as well. So we're able to give our investor developer members more access to properties that might typically not be seen elsewhere in the marketplace.
Okay, so am I right in saying on one side you've got, say, someone like myself who's an investor developer, on the other side you've got, say, a whole host of agents or sourcers or people that might have properties to list?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very much the sort of core foundation of what we're doing. So I mean, we're not listing everything in the marketplace. So certainly from an agent's perspective, they're just listing purely properties that either are income producing already, might appeal to a property investor, and of course anything that's got development potential. Any properties that are typically suitable for owner occupiers in the agent's mind, or just purely to rent, are not listed. So hence removing the fact you have to look through possibly pages upon pages, coming across opportunities that might not be fully described, and in the sense that you have to sort of do some digging and think, is it going to be an investment? At least with our platform, we've got properties on there that are going to appeal to our audience. Okay,
so who's vetting the stuff that goes on the site? I mean, how do you stop an agent listing just kind of like a 3-bed mid-terrace for sale that he's just chancing his luck on sticking on there? Who vets that the stuff going onto the website is actually a decent deal for an investor, and it's not just retail stuff that somebody would be looking for a home or a family home?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we have the sort of the human element to ensure it's not just sort of computer. We've got systems in place which are checking through the properties to verify that they are indeed in investment or development orientated. But again, it's something where you're never going to fully police an agent. Yes, if they're going to try their luck, as long as if they're thinking it's going to appeal to an investor, I mean they can't misdescribe the property, because at the end of the day that's going against their their code of conduct. So we have to ensure that there is at least that they are describing a property that is potentially going to appeal to an investor, and ultimately it's going to be up to the investor themselves to determine if that is actually going to be a property that's going to be fit their criteria. We do have sort of tools on each of the listings as well, so typically the sort of mortgage calculators, stamp duty, but we also have introduced like yield calculators, development appraisal tools as well, especially if you are looking at development options. So if you do see a property that might be of interest, and let's say, for example, if it's a property that's been advertised by an agent and maybe not describe what the yield is or what the sort of the realised value, if it's a development opportunity, that we're providing the tools for our members as well to actually do the work, make that informed decision, and ultimately make contact with that party if it is going to be of interest. So just maybe slightly gone a bit long on the question there, but it's something that you can't always police everything, in a sense that an agent might try the luck, but we have got procedures in place to ensure that properties that are listed on our site are or potentially going to appeal to our target audience.
Right. Okay. I love the fact that you got the yield calculators there and the mortgage calculators, because that's really, really handy for someone to kind of almost do their own due diligence on a deal, because you can't always, an agent will tell you that it's a great deal and it might be a shocking deal, but the fact that you can actually analyze it yourself and you've made it very easy for someone to do that. That's a nice idea. I'm guessing it's similar to like when you scroll down on Rightmove, you have a mortgage calculator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're actually on each listing. All the calculators will be on the right hand side. So as you are actually looking at a particular listing, you can do the numbers there. So you don't have to be going out of the property listing or even jotting it down on pen and paper. You can actually do the figures whilst you're looking at the property itself. So and then it's up to that person if they want to make contact, email or phone that party. And it's the same for any properties that are for sale from a private seller. Appreciate maybe private sellers are not going to be as fully descriptive as an estate agent would, but again, they've got the tools there in place that they can make the informed decision before they make contact.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So a full-on deal appraisal on the page when you're looking at something.
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
Wow, I love that. Now, does it allow you to connect with brokers or people that could help you raise money or bridging finance or whatever kind of finance?
Yeah, these are things that are going to be rolling out towards the end of this year, going into next year. I mean, with our platform, we've not just sort of built the site and that's it. We're just sitting back. We're continually innovating and making changes, and we're certainly listening to what our investor members are wanting. So we're always continually going to innovate, add new sort of products, services to the back end, so that the user experience is going to be enhanced. And yes, we in terms of access to finance, we want to actually educate people as well, particularly if they're just starting out in property investing, not sure where to turn in terms of raising finance. We want to be getting people in who are experts. I'm not an expert in finance, so but we do need people through like blog posts and our social media channels to actually be giving good advice, promoting their services as well. So we want the ability for those companies. We want to connect them with our members so that they get quicker access to finance, particularly if they've seen something that they want to jump on very quickly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So am I right in saying the kind of ultimate goal is to build a whole community of brokers, property professionals, lots of advice going on, and it's not just merely a kind of simple we link you with that and after that it's finished?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not, search is very much, as I said earlier, that it's the core foundation of the business, but we are going to be offering so much more. And we've got some exciting stuff in the pipeline that we are going to roll out towards the end of December. I'd love to talk about it now, but I think a couple of my development team would be, including me, saying you can't be saying that just yet. So we'll have to keep it sort of hush at the moment. But yeah, we are continually innovating. We're going to be adding some new exciting sort of products and services, and the search itself. I mean, one of our team members is adamant that it's very antiquated, and this is sort of giving us the sort of spear to be adding new services towards the end of the year. People will still search for property just like they would on Rightmove, but we're trying to be so much more than that, and really, as I say, we are going to connect people in so many different ways, and hopefully it's a platform that you may have the benefit of all the services, but even if it's just you just want to search for properties, then that's fine. But we want to provide people so much more for to give them value for money for their membership.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Jonathan, just to flip it up, so we've looked at the developer side and the agent side and people listing stuff. Say me as an investor now, I'm coming onto the site. What's the whole process? What am I doing? Am I just signing up, or is there a criteria? How does it work? Say James wants to come on and say, I want to look at new land deals we're planning, and I want to look at HMO potentials?
Yeah, certainly. So there's two distinct packages that we're offering at the moment. So you can sign up to Truffle completely free, which is running until the end of December this year, or we've sort of labelled the same package, but as what we're calling Forever Fixed, and that's priced at $9.99 per month. And the reason we've done that is to allow sort of new investors who really believe, supporting the idea, that actually if they sign up and get on board early with us, that price is going to be fixed forever. So that from the 1st of January, we actually are rolling out the sort of full prices that we had originally sort of advertised, and they're going to run from the 1st of January next year. However, if an investor does believe in the idea, really wants to be a part of this and for the long term, that they can be rewarded with a low cost price per month, or you can trial Truffle completely free. So once you've chosen whichever package you want, we will then go through a sort of set criteria questions. So you'll be able to fill out exactly what you're wanting. So like say land, with planning, and then we'll be then asking you questions on, is this a first time purchase for you? Are you looking to add to an existing portfolio? Are you facilitating it via cash, mortgage? These are sort of typical questions that an agent would ask, or certainly when I was involved as a surveyor, we're trying to build that profile. And once we've got that information, then when an investor or developer makes an inquiry, particularly with an agent, that info can be then related to that to the agent on that party, so that they know, this person is looking at land, going to facilitate it via cash, looking to add to existing portfolios, possibly going to be looking at other options as well, so that it really creates that profile. And it's in a few steps. So literally within 5 minutes, you can register, sign up, and actually start looking at opportunities.
Okay. So seems like a lot of thought's gone into this.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more. Not just so much listening to investors and developers, or certainly my own frustrations when I was searching for opportunities, but actually because I can see it from the agent's point of view as well. And I certainly have dealt with a lot of time wasters in my time as a surveyor, and figured, well, that's some of the gripes that agents have, particularly with Rightmove and Zoopla. If you had, say, 4 or 5 inquiries on the same property in the morning, I'm just speaking as if when I was an agent, you don't know that person from the other, and you just have the name, maybe a brief message on that property. But if you're able to get that more detailed information on that person up front, then at least from an agent's point of view, you can relay that to the client, so they know that this person is a serial property investor who's already added to an existing portfolio. He's going to be buying via cash. He wants to view, let's say, this Friday. So you're having all that information to hand as an agent that can then show you're dealing with serious people. But obviously I don't want to use the term serious, because again, there is people out there who obviously will time waste, but that is just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So yeah, we've put a lot of thought in both sides, really, not just trying to be purely just for investors and developers. We want to create that platform that the agents have the trust and confidence to deal with members who do register with us, and that's really trying to work in both favors. So again, at the end of the day, it should be a win-win for everyone. If we've got a member who sees a property, wants to make an offer, or make an offer and actually buy the property, and the agent sells it and gets a fee from it, then surely it works in everyone's favor.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, it doesn't seem to be an expensive platform at the price point you're saying, every single month, which is, what did you say, it was $9.99 a month, or is that kind of an introductory offer? Yeah,
that's an introductory offer. Yeah, so from the 1st of January, we've got 3 sort of membership packages that will be rolled out, and they're actually going to start from $18.99 per month. The 2 packages we've got available at the moment are based on the gold package, so you'll see all the sort of tools, and that you'll have the ability to see properties at least 12 hours before the silver packages. So we've got sort of silver, gold, and platinum, and it's really just each membership has got, sort of more sort of access to tools, see opportunities before the other members, and again with the top tier, the platinum one, we're actually able to sort of be able to present opportunities to our members. Particularly, it's designed for those people who maybe don't have enough time to be searching. They detail what they want. They may have other agendas, running businesses, or just haven't got the time to be looking for properties. And we can then simply, based on what they're looking for, present them with those opportunities, either to view, put an offer in, or disregard. So that's what we're doing with the platinum package. But with the gold and silver, very much the investor developer is still in control. They get to view properties, and depending on which one they want to pay for, and they'll be able to see properties at least 12 hours before the others. So certainly that the sense of urgency when a property has come onto the market, if it's a good deal, people are going to jump on it very quickly. So we want to make sure that depending on which package you go for, that you get to see those opportunities as and when they go live.
Okay, so am I right in saying Truffle makes all of its money through memberships?
Yeah, that is the predominantly the main income source for sort of future products and services, and particularly with other sort of lines of the business that would follow. That there will be other income streams, but the sort of core main focus is on the investors and developers. We will be offering a sort of like pay per lead for agents, because Rightmove and Zoopla, they charge agents either per month or per annum, and we wanted to sort of offer a pay per lead, so that if they don't get a lead for any sort of property, then it's absolutely free advertising. And that's been we've sort of tested the idea with various agents, and they really welcome the fact that it is risk-free, sort of risk-free for them if they don't have any leads. But obviously, if they do start getting leads, then it's more cost-effective than spending thousands that they would on Rightmove. So yes, predominantly we'll see the income from investor and developer memberships. Okay,
and so the investor pays, the developer or the agent pays to be listed on the site as well.
So the agent effectively will list their properties for free. Same with private sellers as well. They can list their completely free. It's for when an agent receives a lead, which at the moment they get free advertising and listings anyway. But from next year, if they do receive a lead, then it's just it'll be on a pay per lead basis. So that will roll out for next year. And of course, the moment with the investor memberships, it's either free or $9.99 a month.
Got ya. So there's none of this 1 or 2% sourcing fee when you link the two together?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm mindful that property sourcing agents will still charge their sort of rates. And again, we are very much an intermediary in that sense. We're trying to connect the sources with people, who are looking at those opportunities. So again, we can't govern what they want to charge on top. All we're sort of stipulating is that they will disclose their fees on that. So if they have got an opportunity, that they are at least telling the prospective investor, what the costs are going to be. So at least then they can make their informed decisions. Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, I feel like you're going to really make a lot of deal sourcers unhappy when this system is full blown and out there. I think you're going to disrupt, from this conversation we've had, I feel you're very much going to disrupt the kind of sourcing arena in a big way, because I think it's an area that needs to be governed a little bit more, and it's an area that needs a bit of a kind of kick up the arse, because anybody who gets into property, all these property courses are like, go and be a deal sourcer, go and be a deal sourcer. And some of the stuff I see coming through, especially from a company, I have regular emails from a company called Sourced. I'm quite happy to mention their name, because I'll have deals come through and I look at these deals and I think, oh, this looks fantastic. And it's a simple search in Google and you'll see that deal listed elsewhere in multiple areas, and it might be a hell of a lot cheaper, and there is a relatively small sourcing fee on there. So I think with what you're doing here, this could be quite a clean-cut way of connecting people without that massive kind of ungoverned bit in between, which is a deal sourcing fee, which can be from anywhere from 1% up to 5%, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. I mean, we're not that there trying to completely eradicate property sources or any other agents out there. The whole ethos is really trying to make finding opportunities a lot easier. So with deal sources, particularly if there's an opportunity where they may be maybe discounted on their existing client base, it might not fit their the criteria. They may end up finding someone through our platform of investors and developers, and again, if it's not advertised elsewhere, then that's really where they may end up capitalizing in the fact that they are showing opportunities that aren't actually marketed elsewhere, and if they're good at what they're doing and they can justify their sort of rate and really helping our investor and developer members, then we just welcome everyone to the platform. We're not trying to remove them altogether. At the end of the day, investors want to see opportunities in whatever shape or form, and we're trying to simplify that by putting it all in one place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, I think there's some really good deal sources and there's some that are really, really bad. And it's funny you say that, because I think your platform could assist them as well. Like you said, I mean, most recently I spoke to a deal sourcer who had some fantastic deals, but they were all, it was a collection of deals, I think 5 properties in total, but every single one of those properties was just below the mortgageable amount. So an investor looking at these deals could not get finance on them. So a platform like yours could be very clear with that, because it would link people who say we're cash buyers, and it just puts the two together, and it saves the deal sourcer a lot of pain. Because I know this particular deal sourcer had numerous people interested, but he wasn't too clued up on the kind of borrowing side. And then when people committed to it and paid a kind of reservation deposit on the deals, soon they found out they couldn't raise the finance because no mortgage company was looking to touch them below a 55 pound value. So he kind of fell flat on his face in the sense that the person couldn't raise finance.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the end of the day, and another thing we touched on, the finance as well. Certainly, if you're going to start out investing, you need to have this good sort of knowledge and confidence, I think, as well, to especially sort of deal with that. And if you're empowering the investor at that sort of early stage, then at least they're going to be able to understand the process, maybe avoid lengthy time back and forth with brokers or other sort of lenders, and ultimately that deal may well have fallen to the wayside. So it's absolutely crucial, isn't it, to really have your ducks in a row quite early on in the process, and that's what we're trying to achieve through our platform as well, by empowering the members to get educated and become confident and grow their portfolios.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Jonathan, you mentioned that this is all you're focusing your time on now. Is that correct? This is solely you?
At the moment, we launched the platform in July of this year. Probably a few people maybe had a bit of doubts, thinking, well, with what a turbulent time we've had this year, why are you bothering launching? But I think we've been fortunate in a sense, because it's online. We've not needed to be working in any office environment. We're all being remote. There's a small team of us at the moment that are all working together, and certainly developing the platform and really engaging the profile out there, because at the end of the day, that's really where our focus is at the moment, to get spread the word out that this is available to any investor developer. If you're just starting out, or you're already thinking of adding to your portfolios and building that wealth, that there is a site that can help you along that journey.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great. I think really, hats off to you guys for what you're doing, and solely believing in it and putting all your attention in it. Where do you see Truffle in 12 months, 3 years, and 5 years time? Or where would you like it to be?
Yeah, I think where we look ourselves. I mean, we're in the arena. It's no secret we're in the arena with like Rightmove, Zoopla on the market, other sort of challenger portals as well. We want to be well recognised up there. There is challengers out there that are trying to completely eradicate Rightmove, and possibly Zoopla. And they've got them right in the crosshairs, and we're not really sort of aiming for that. People are still going to use Rightmove to move house, for moving house, or if they're finding somewhere to rent. And we want to be up there as certainly a leader in this sector of the property market, and somewhere where that people it's a go-to, that they think, I'm looking for investments, I'll come to Truffle. If I'm looking to just start out and I need some education on where we want to go, yes, come to Truffle. I can engage with other investors, developers out there, maybe more experienced people. These are all the benefits that we'll be following. So as I say, certainly 12 months to be up there as well recognised as Rightmove and Zoopla is probably ambitious, but I'd like to think in the next sort of 3 to 5 years that that can be achievable. That we become a well established name in the sector that people will go to at all levels. Certainly in this 12 months, our aim and our focus is to really build up the platform as much as we can, get as many followers on there, people really engaging with it, liking the idea, and just hope and joining us to grow it to that level. That's really where we're focusing at the moment.
No, it's all exciting stuff, Jonathan. Would you say it's a little bit biased though, because you get to pick the cream of the crop before it goes out, or does it not work like that?
No,
Because I'd love to be your best mate when the stuff's just coming in, and you can say, "Oh, James, you want this? You want this?"
Yeah, no, you know what? I've never actually thought that, and I think purely because I'm not actually at the moment investing in developing, because I've been focusing on Truffle. But I think we have to ensure that there's practice there. We don't want to be that type of environment where, unless you actually know someone within Truffle, you're not going to get the pick of the crop. I think we have to make and that probably sort of instills in my experience as a surveyor as well. You don't want to be cutting corners, or certainly doing backhanders. That's not in the environment. So if a property is coming live, that we ensure that it's suitable for investment, and it goes live. So it's going to be, depending on what sort of package you're on, it's going to be no different to me. It won't be a case that I know this property and then tomorrow it's going on. It would literally be as and when that is. So I'd like to think there's no disadvantage there. And if I was going back into getting and investing, developing, then I'd use the platform in the same way that anyone else would be utilising it. So I can't see that I'd have that advantage over many. And you might get a few of your listeners, messaging saying, "Oh, can you keep me on the shortlist? So when something does come through, I'll pay that." No, we won't be doing that. We need to keep above board.
No, that's nice to know. Jonathan, where did the name come about from, Truffle? How did you get to that name?
It was just a random name. I mean, we're based in Hull, and if some people actually sometimes don't even use the beginning of Hull. They take the H off. They go Hull. They said, "Oh, is it a play on word to that, Truffle?" And I said, "No, but actually, when you think of it, I can see where people might be thinking that." It was just, when I had the idea, it was just sort of throwing names out the hat and just random. When you look at the word like Zoopla, and there's no reference to property there. So I thought, where we're trying to go, it maybe needs to be a bit quirky. And actually, when we were just sort of throwing out some names there, we had like Truffle, and it said "sniff out the best," truffling around. And I thought, I like that. It just was one of them straight away where I saw, I like the name, and got the logo design, and I thought, this is exciting. This is good. I think it's a name that people might think is a bit weird at first, but hopefully it will stick, and people know that it's what it's connected to. So purely random,
Because when I hear the name Truffle, obviously it takes me back to that scene in The Simpsons when you've got Bart Simpson with a pig, and he's going around the field and he's sniffing out those good truffles, and then he's taking them away and getting shed loads of money for it. And I kind of got the same analogy in my head where I'm thinking, okay, maybe they did that. Maybe they thought, truffles, we'll sniff out the best deals and we'll connect it with the investors. And
it wasn't based on The Simpsons. I have to. I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, you've copied it through from the program." No, but actually, when we were putting the names, potential things, and actually, we said, had it written down, Truffle, sniff out the best, because we thought that might be like the tagline. and it was just like, yeah, absolutely, you know, it was just one of them that thought, yeah, that's it, that's the name. And yeah, so that's it. But we obviously played on the word, so it's not actually spelled as truffle, you know, truffle or anything like that. So yeah, it's just a bit of a sort of quirky play on to the actual, you know, word truffle.
Oh, that's great. So Jonathan, where can people find you if they want to find you, if they want to connect with you, ask you some more questions?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to connect with me directly on LinkedIn, as I say, that you know, they can message through there. Our Instagram, yeah, on Truffle. You know, if they want to direct message, they can certainly speak through there. Again, with Facebook as well. You know, we're very active on social. So, you know, if anyone had any specific questions, you know, they can also email as well. I mean, if they want to email, you know, directly to me, that's absolutely fine. It's jonathan.barker@truffle.co.uk. That's spelled JONATHAN, because I know some people do spell Jonathan differently. But yeah, so happy to, you know, if anyone's wants any further information, got any questions, or just keen to know a bit more, then absolutely, you know, happy to speak to anyone.
No, that's great. Jonathan, there's two questions that I normally finish every podcast off on. One is, if you were 18 again, what's one bit of advice you'd give yourself?
Good question. I don't know, probably I'd say, you know, if I was 18 again, I'd make sure that I worked harder in school, because certainly I was quite fortunate. I think at the time I was too busy partying rather than actually studying, which was naughty of me. But actually, you know, you take a step back and think, actually that could have possibly hinder you from, you know, your future career. So just don't take everything for granted. You know, I think if you work hard, that you will, you know, you get the rewards. So whatever you're doing in life, yeah, you know, if you work hard and fully commit and be passionate, then, you know, you should get what you reap.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, what's one naughty vice or pleasure that you just can't live without? Something that you must do all the time.
Naughty pleasure. I don't. Well, as I say, I can't. Just thinking sport. Well, I was actually going to think about, you know, if we were saying like maybe food or something. I can't live without chocolate. You know, literally, I am an absolute chocoholic. But the one thing, you know, it's a big passion of mine. It's certainly in my spare time is actually golf. So I can't. I'm a right golf addict, and yeah, I couldn't live without that. So you know, the amount of people just, you know, got golf on the telly when I can, either playing golf when I can, you know, and people just get bored. I'm talking about golf, it spoils a walk, whatever it is. But yeah, that is my yeah, guilty pleasure.
Are you good at it?
I play off 6, so yeah, a single-figured handicapper. Yeah, it's well respected, but I could be better. I'm always striving to become lower. So that's that, you know, it's frustrating at the best of times. But that is golf. That's why we keep going back. So yeah.
I'm sure the golf heads out there will know what that means. That's just flew straight past my head. But yeah. And just, Jonathan, so, you know, that brings us to the end of the podcast. I'm so glad we got together, because I really did want to find out more about your platform. And I know you mentioned you'll set up some kind of referral code for the listeners where they can possibly get a bit of a discount on the software. And I definitely think we should schedule in some kind of webinar where we maybe go over this and do a kind of full-on webinar for the listeners, where we can show them how the platform works before they go ahead and sign up and get some more details on it.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly, if it might be good to do that back end of the year, because we're making some changes, particularly to the back end, before we sort of roll out the full memberships for next year. So yeah, absolutely happy to you know, to do more sort of a walk and talk through. If you want in you know, towards the back end of this year, that'll be great. And at least then we can, you know, get your listeners to you know, see a bit more about it before they sign up. But I would encourage, if anyone's a bit sort of unsure, that they can sign up completely free. You know, they can go to our website today, register, sign up, view opportunities, and it's absolutely, you know, risk free. There's no nothing to do. When it comes to the 1st of Jan next year, if they still want to continue using truffle, I'd certainly encourage them to sort of go onto the Forever Fix, and that way they'll at least get it for the low price of $9.99 a month. If they really are enjoying the platform, up to them. So yeah, that I'd certainly encourage them to sign up and at least see for themselves really.
Okay, no, that's great, Jonathan. Thanks so much for joining me on the J2 Hub. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad we finally got it pinned down, and I really look forward to seeing how truffle develops over the next couple of years, and I'm sure it's going to be a name to be reckoned with.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's great to finally speak to you, and yeah, look forward to another session soon. Cheers.
No worries, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks.